Welcome to Valentina's culinary voyage. This is where I recreate for you the 7 dishes that I most fell in love with when I was on my Italian Sojourn Viking cruise earlier this year. Now we're going to go to a dish that is absolutely as much a part of Sicily as cassata and cannoli and all this sort of thing. This is the famous caponata. Caponata is a sort of antipasto or a side dish. It's basically a sort of a warm salad where the main ingredient is aubergine. Now, I say to everybody who goes to Sicily for the first time, don't bother going to Sicily if you don't like aubergines, because you're going to get a lot of aubergine, right? They love this vegetable. These are the beautiful violette, the violet and white streaked variety, but there are lots and lots of different kinds of melanzane or eggplant if you're over in the USA. And in this salad, what we've done is I've cubed them up and I put them into this colander and I covered them with some sea salt, and you can see what's happened. They've dripped out all their toxic, bitter juices. Now, why bother with this? A lot of recipes tell you not to bother with this. Well, here's why. 2 reasons. One, that is bitterness, okay? And really, our palate doesn't really take to that kind of bitter flavour, so why not get rid of it? Secondly, by doing this and washing them and drying them thoroughly before you fry them, you're going to end up with something that doesn't absorb as much oil. And the big problem with cooking this vegetable is the amount of oil it likes to soak up. But by purging them, this is called purging, by doing this process, you end up with something with cubes of aubergine that will absorb less oil as you're cooking it. Okay, so olive oil in this pan, and into that, from cold, not heating it up first, but putting it in from cold, we've got a chopped onion. That's a red onion going in there. We can turn the heat on now and they can start to release their flavour. And I've got some celery and celery leaves, which are also going into there. And then as soon as these tenderize, I'm going to add the rest of my ingredients, all of which really say Sicily on a plate. Olives, mixed Italian pickles called la giardiniera, pine kernels, oh, and capers too, of course. Mustn't forget the capers. When we bring it all together in one pan, the aubergines and all these other ingredients, we're then going to flavour it and give it its distinctive sweet and sour taste, which for something which is as old as this recipe is, it's amazing to think that this really quite sophisticated flavour profile of sweet and sour was around. But you've got granulated sugar mixed with some red wine vinegar. So the celery and the onion have now fried together so that they're soft. I'm going to add in my pickles. I've got peppers, cauliflower, gherkin, carrot, all going on in there, nice and bright. A handful of olives is going in too. These are nocellara olives, which I have bought ready stoned. These are salted capers from the island of Pantelleria, which I have carefully washed, cleared of salt, that are now ready to go in there. And now, to add texture, a nice big handful of pine kernels. And then this all just continues to cook together. Now, in this pan, the second pan, we want some more olive oil. And here are the aubergine cubes, which have been purged, remember? They've been purged, they've been washed, and they're now ready to hit the hot oil. Okay, so the aubergine has now fried, and we're going to just drain it off really well, because we don't want all this extra oil to ruin the caponata. As soon as this is drained off really well, I'm going to add it into the pan which has got my olives, my capers, my pickles, and the red onion and the celery are all in here. So just going to give that a bit more heat. Now, aubergines in with the rest of the ingredients at this point. It's just the finishing touches now. So we want maximum heat. We've got a good sizzle on now. The reason I need all this heat is because I'm about to add in a really big slosh of red wine vinegar, and I need the heat to boil off all that extra acidity. So here we go. And now, I'm going to add in the sugar, about a tablespoonful. Before I taste it, I'll just tell you what it is I'm looking for. So what I want is balance. This is one of those dishes that really is all about the balance between the textures and most of all the balance between the sweet and the sour, so that one doesn't dominate over the other. I think another minute, but I can taste everything. Now, this can be served warm or cold. It's never served, boiling hot like it is right now. I'm going to put it on top of some bite-sized pieces of toast. I'm going to finish it off just with a little bit of cooling ricotta, just dropped on the top. And that'll be the perfect combo between all the textures and the flavors. So, ready to top our crostini now. Here it is. It's colourful. It's a pan full of Sicily, that's what it is. So just enough to make sure each one has a little bit of everything. La caponata. So yeah, there are lots and lots of different versions, but basically, fundamentally, what you're talking about is aubergine and celery as a base, and then this very special, unique sweet and sour flavour running through it. Don't want anybody to feel shortchanged. There. Now, the ricotta. This is real ricotta. This is good, firm, good quality ricotta made from the whey that is left over from making Parmigiano Reggiano at the end of the process. That's where it comes from. So, it's very cold, this ricotta. And I'm just putting it on top of the hot caponata like this. There's a sort of hot-cold contrast. And this is one of my favourite antipasti. This with some little bit of salame or a few slices of salty pecorino on the side or prosciutto or something. Just delicious. Just give it a little bit more colour. There we go. Buon appetito! Caponata alla siciliana.